Sometimes I wonder about the interconnectedness of things. I wonder, how is the tree connected to the water and the air, and how am I connected to that? And then I think about the waves and the basics of physics and how all energy is just transmuted, and how all things are interconnected in science. But then I think, there's something more fundamental that science is trying to get at. And that's the important part of science, is that it's trying to discover how the world works and how things are put together. And so that's why it's always coming up with new theories and new ideas of how things operate. And the new theories either take the place of, or they sit side by side with, the older theories. And people look at them and they go, well, that's a good theory. And unfortunately, they often accept that as dogma and don't realize that these theories will again go into the past, and people will be riding on some new theory based on new evidence, because there's always going to be new evidence that gets uncovered about the nature of the world, because the world is just too complicated. There's so much of it, and there's so much of it we're just never going to know about. And that's just the way it is. And that's the important part and the true beauty of it, actually. You can look inside yourself and see all of nature. The real beauty of it is that we are all part of nature. We are nature. The human body is just a part of the body of the world. It's always transferring things back and forth. You can't live without the world. It just can't happen, not physically. And I think there's a spiritual body. At least I've always thought that for quite some time. Maybe since I was a teenager I thought that. There was some kind of spiritual body, and there was some place you went when you died. Some interesting place. Maybe just a fabulous place where it's all pure energy. And then I got this idea the other day, I was thinking, it's maybe like if all energy and all of matter that we could see and know about would crumble to dust, then there'd be this blinding white light of energy that powers it, that's behind it, sits right behind it. And that's the real truth. But everything we see is just an illusion that's held up there by this other energy. It was something like that, and I thought that was an interesting model. And it is really similar to what all those seers and sages and prophets say. That's the amazing thing about science, is that they really end up saying a lot of the same things of what people found out through deep intuition thousands and hundreds of thousands of years ago. And that's why maybe that Greek man came up with the atom theory 2,000 years ago, and people knew about a lot of other things that physics is beginning to identify only in this past century, past 100 years. They knew about in India thousands of years ago. There's some stuff I was reading about the yogis, what they were saying. That's kind of interesting. So that's where scientists pick it up anyway. They take it right out of their unconscious, and it comes up through their imagination. And then they take a good look at it. Your dreams and your deeper self. That's not just the intellectual part. And that's the big mistake anyway people make. I've met so many of them like that. I think the mind is so important and the heart is not. Maybe because they don't have any heart. At least those people, when I think about them, maybe they just were missing that part. So of course they didn't think it was important. That's too bad. Anyway, I don't know what else I could see right now that'd be interesting. I don't even know how interesting that was. I'm going to turn this thing off right now. So, talk to you again. Bye-bye.